Namaskar. Hope you can hear me clearly. As most of you know, the Thursday talk is dedicated to spiritual matters, but today we are making an exception. We're talking about a very mundane kind of a thing, which is back to your course material, which is about your food. This has occurred because many of you had approached me saying that your friends have been telling you that perhaps your diet is too restrictive, perhaps it does not give you sufficient calories. This was the fear that many people had, quite a few people. So, as most of you know, yesterday I asked most people what would be the right diet for the poorest of the poor people. Now, these are the people who are daily wages and do a lot of physical activity. I was not interested in knowing from you what is the healthy diet they should take, although some people have come up with excellent diets. Let me read out one of the diets, which would be about the ideal for any such people. The suggested diet was in the breakfast, either wheat dalia, which is porridge, with milk or veggies in the morning. This was the suggested breakfast. The lunch was either khichdi cooked with veggies and curd, or chana rice, or dal rice, or rajma rice. And dinner was bajra or any other grain other than wheat roti with cooked veggies. This was a suggested diet. Now, of course, it is a very good diet. The only problem is that many of the people who are not my students, for that matter, your family members, are not willing to make drastic changes in their food, are they? They don't want to change too much. So I would rather go with the diet suggested by some other students, which does not require too much of change from their present diet. It demands use of less food, all right, but it doesn't ask them to change it drastically. The diet suggested by one person, it says, in breakfast, they can have either tea or milk, or along with that, either 4 rusks or 4 bread pieces. This is for the breakfast. And for lunch, they have suggested 2 rotis, 1 bowl of sabzi, and 1 cup of rice. This is for lunch. In snacks, the suggested one is 2 bananas and a cup of tea. And for dinner, 2 rotis and dal. Another student has recommended in breakfast tea, chaach, which is buttermilk. Along with that, either leftover roti or rusk or biscuits with onion and chili. In lunch, the suggested food is rice plus potato vegetables, aloo ki sabzi, or khichdi with buttermilk, or rice with dal. 3 choices. And this student hasn't talked about the snack, but in dinner, she has suggested roti and sabzi, It could be the potatoes or any other vegetable. Tell me, is any of you following such a restricted diet? If anybody is eating so little, do send me a message. Type a message and tell me if you are eating that little. Most likely, most of you would be eating something else beyond that, aren't you? We all take something which goes beyond this frugal diet. I'm still waiting. If somebody says that he is sticking to just this much, I'll be very happy. But I seriously doubt if anybody can be that harsh on himself. Now let's talk about whether this diet fulfills your needs. That is the main thing. It cannot be a more strict diet. Mind you, in the 24 hours, you are not taking anything else. This is the kind of diet that we are recommending them because the means are very limited. Now you should know what the body demands. The important question is, what is the basic requirement of your body? As you know by now, during the course, I don't talk about calories. But outside people, all of them who are all PhDs in nutrition, they all know more than me. They only talk about calories. Am I right? So, for their benefit and your benefit, I'll go beyond the rules of our course and I'll strictly talk about calories. I'll not talk about protein. I'll not talk about other nutrients. I'll only talk about calories. You should know something. If you believe in calories, then you have to stick to a certain number of calories. You cannot go below that. You cannot go above that. What happens here is that for those who live in the Western countries, the limit is 2,500 calories for men and 2,000 calories for women. This is what would be recommended to most people living abroad. But in India, we cannot take that many calories for the simple reason that the people living in colder climate, they can afford to consume more food for a very simple reason. You can think of your body as a room which has to be maintained 24/7 at the temperature of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which corresponds to 37 degrees. Let me share a screen, then I'll be able to make things easier for you. West, men, 2,500 calories. Women, 2,000 calories. Is it coming on your screen? Right. Maybe you can just raise a finger. Pratibha, I can see you on the screen, so you can raise your finger if the picture is clear.
Yes, sir.
The whiteboard is working for you. Okay. But in India, it is men 2,000 and women 1,500, for the simple reason that we live in a warmer climate. This is the upper limit of calories, and we should see whether we are able to provide our poorest people this much of calories or not. Remember, they're very hardworking people. The ones who are working in your construction, they put in much more labor than any of you do. You may be a regular gym goer, but you couldn't be working as hard as the laborers, are you? If somebody is doing it, I say 3 cheers. The first thing you have to realize is that Indian man can eat 2000 calories only and only if he is highly active. Only if active. Even this is the upper limit. Let me draw that also for you. Men fall under 3 categories. Depending upon their physical activity, they come under 3 categories: sedentary, moderate, and active. Anybody who exercises for less than 1 hour is sedentary. So, even those who are very proud that they go for a morning walk for 40 minutes every day or 50 minutes per day, technically they will come under the sedentary category. Moderate are the people who are active for 1 to 2 hours every day. If they are walking, exercising, doing yoga, swimming, climbing, cycling, if they are active for 1 to 2 hours, they are moderate. And if it is 2+ hours, then they are qualified to be called active. If they intend to take 2000 calories, they will be expected to work for 2 hours or more. And if it is only 1 to 2 hours, then it has to be 1800. And if it is less than 1 hour, then it is only 1500 calories. That is the maximum that your body can burn off. Is that clear? In the case of women, for women, this is 1000, 1200, and 1500. This is the maximum that they can handle. Now let's go over the diet that you people suggested and see if the requirements are met. Let me take out one of those decent diets. Okay, this was the most strict diet that I got. Let's start talking about it. The first thing that most people like to have either in the early morning or anytime by the breakfast time, 1 cup of tea, isn't it? Most people would want 1 cup of tea. You may be going in for your green tea or some other fancy tea, but what about the common people? What kind of tea do they prefer? Masala chai. Tea with lots of milk and sugar. Okay, so masala tea. Do you know how many calories it has? Masala tea with sugar, masala tea with sugar is 200 calories, my dear. Because sugar adds a lot of calories. And supposing you are not the tea person, you want to go for milk, then it will be 250 grams of milk. if you're taking 250 grams of milk, it will be 122 calories. You will add 2 spoons of sugar. Each spoon is 48 calories. So 48 plus another 48, 218 calories will go into your system early in the morning. And for the time being, I am putting you in the bracket of the poorest Indians, which you are not. All I'm allowing you is either 4 slices of bread, just slightly heated, or 4 rusks. This is all I can give you. You are very poor. Can you think of a more modest breakfast? Either 4 toasted slices or 4 rusks. If it is 4 bread pieces, each piece is 32 calories. So 32 into 4 is 128. And if it is 4 rusks, then each rusk is 41 calories. Into 4 would come to 164. By the way, have you seen any of even laborers taking a dry piece of toast? They will always add some bit of butter or ghee, don't they? But if you don't want to give them that liberty, I'm fine. I'm ready to stop here. Even this has already added to 328 calories. Mind you, this is not inclusive of your milk. So far, we have not even added the milk. It is 200 tea, 128 of your bread pieces, and 4 rusks. You want to give him a glass of milk? Anybody? Let's be a little soft on our poor laborers. They have to work throughout the day. If we give them the milk also, so you add another 218 calories, you have 546 calories. Your breakfast has already taken care of more than one fourth of your day's quota. Laborer is a male and he is active, so he can go up to 2000 calories. Already taken care of. Among you are many women. What is your total for a day? 1500. And that too, if you are active. Those of you who are working for more than 2 hours, they are walking for 1 hour every day, doing half an hour of weight, half an hour of yoga, then you are qualified and you have already taken more than 1/3 of your quota. Let's go down to your lunch. What did you say? 2 rotis. First of all, not many people would restrict themselves to 2 rotis. Anyway, you are very kind to just 2 rotis. Each roti is 129 calories. Medium-sized roti, not the Punjabi-sized roti, which can be as big as a pizza. I'm not talking about that. It is the smallest that you can make because you have to fit it into your tiffin box also. I'm talking about a very small one. Each one is 129. So 2 would make how much? 258 calories. Okay. What will have with it? 1 bowl of dal. You are poor. You are not adding any ghee to it. I hope you are not adding any ghee to it. So that 1 bowl would be 198 calories. All right. Will you have some sabzi also with that? I'm sure you will have. One bowl of sabzi, any seasonal sabzi, it will be another 150 calories. If you are really in a lavish mood, maybe you will also eat some dahi, will you? Most likely you will. One bowl dahi, that adds another 100 calories. And are you planning to add some rice also? One bowl of rice is a mind-boggling, because only you people are taking brown rice. We are talking about the normal people, normal within quotes. You are freaks. I am a double freak. One bowl of rice, which you can see most rickshawalas eating, as a staggering 411 calories. That makes a total of 1,117 calories. By the way, when was the last time you met a person who is not a holistic student and who eats his roti without any ghee, or who eats his dal without any ghee? Hardly anyone takes roti without a ghee. Even the poorest of the lot somehow manage it, if they are kind enough to be taking care of the ghee also. You should know that 1 spoon of butter or ghee, which is only 14 grams, is 102 calories. 1 spoon. So what will that make? 1,219 calories for your modest lunch.
Achar, Guruji, achar.
You can add on. Achar is there, papad is there, salad is there. I'm not even talking about them. I'm not mentioning them. This is the most, can anybody be more frugal than this? Today, you are going to understand that our diet is not restrictive. And today, you are also going to understand what happens when you go above it. Most of you, most of us go above this. Okay, we are now up to our lunch. Let's go further. For that, I'll need another paper and okay, here we are. Okay, time for snacks. The diet suggested by my wife was very, very wise. She was willing to restrict me for a cup of tea and 2 bananas. Are you willing to settle for anything less than that? Nobody settles for less than that. Let's talk about that. The tea would be how much? Masala tea, of course. Nobody wants to take any other tea. 200 calories and 2 bananas. Each one is how much? 105. 105 into 2, 210 calories. That means 410 calories for your snack. Normally, dinner can be pretty heavy, but here we are being very, very strict. Very, very, very strict. We are restricting it to only 2 rotis with dal, nothing else. The only problem is that not even a person on a diet is willing to take the roti without ghee. So for dinner, 2 rotis plus ghee, it is coming to 370 calories, and that bowl of dal with just a dash of ghee. You know, when they tell you how much they added, I mean, it happens this much of ghee, this much. Actually, it is this much. But even when you are adding just actually a dash of it, it is 198 calories. So that makes it 568 calories. Let's now add up these things. We have 410. We have your 568. We have your lunch, which was 1229. And we have your breakfast at 328, 2,535 calories taken off. Can you say that anybody can be too low on your diet? If you plan to eat less than that, I'll not write down all those things, but I can work on that also. The other diet was morning tea, 200 calories. Buttermilk, chach, that is very good, 15 calories. 15 वो हो गया. Leftover roti, the last night's roti, 2 rotis, 113 to 2, 260, total 475. You are almost through with that. Even in that, when you were having only rice and some potato vegetable, even that was coming to 500 calories. And dinner in this case was roti and sabzi. It was 355, and then snacks also. Even this diet was almost 2,500 calories. So when you talk about holistic diet being very restrictive, we don't take into account this kind of adding up of calories. Now I am removing this screen and I'll speak to you directly on that. This part is taken care of. Let's talk. You would agree that most of us eat more than this. Or am I being too harsh on you? When we talk about full 1 month, there'll be days when you'll be eating up something else, aren't you? Aman, don't tell me that you never touch that biscuit or cake or pastry or other things, do you? If you are not touching them, my compliments. But you cannot avoid doing that. You will have to be totally antisocial. How many people can you end up annoying? Okay, let me quickly go through some of those things. If the biscuits are sweet, which most people prefer to have, just 15 grams of biscuit cost you 70 calories. 15 grams of biscuit. What is the normal packet? 100 grams. 150-gram piece of cake is 135 calories. And that chocolate cake is 225 calories. You are very good people. You take plain masala, 135 calories. But if you are a fan of masala dosa like me, that weighs in at 250 calories. It is all getting added to your account. It is like your credit card. When it comes to buying things, you don't even notice that you're spending. But when the bill comes, you find that every 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 500 rupees, everything gets added up. How can we live without samosa? 140 calories for a very small sized one. Okay, that occasionally jalebi you have, 100 gram jalebis, just 100 grams of jalebi, they cost you 500 calories. 100 grams of jalebi is 500 calories. If it is kheer, you think kheer is the simple rice boiled in milk? 100 grams of that costs you 180 calories. And if you are also taking your beer, that one glass, 150 calories. A 200 ml can of Coke or Pepsi is another 90 calories. This goes on and on and on. Like Rishi was suggesting about papad. Of course. Now that jeera pulao, that is 388 calories. Noodles, 150 grams of noodles weigh in at 316 calories. And the fried popper, which most people prefer, fried popper, can you imagine how much is it? 160 calories. And I'm not even talking about sweets. Quickly, I can go through them. Gulab jamun, small size, 162 calories. Gujia, which is very common these days, 145 calories. Besan laddu, 132 calories. One rasmalai, 122 calories. One rasgulla, 100 calories. And sandesh, 93 calories. This is enough to tell you that most of your relatives or friends who tell you how would you meet your daily needs, they may be eating something like 4,000 to 5,000 calories on a daily basis. Now you should understand, where will it go? There are several destinations for these extra calories. One is, of course, your weight. But that's not the, if only your weight increases, you are the luckiest person on earth. If you add this much food and it reflects on your weighing scale, you should thank your stars. You would agree that most of you are taking more than 2,000 in any case, whatever it is. It could be 2,500, it could be 3,500, it could be more. And if you are really a foodie, you'll be surprised. Have you heard of a singer called Elvis Presley? The only white singer who could sing as good as the black singers. He was the rage. I mean, same kind of adulation that Michael Jackson got later. In my time, Elvis Presley was the singer. He sang, I mean, it was phenomenal. And he was so handsome. I've never seen a more handsome man. Imagine white guy, blue eyes, and gifted singing. He was absolutely every teeny bopper's dream. But then success went into his head and it also went into his belly. He bloated himself to 3 times his regular size. When he died, he was consuming an unbelievable 40,000 calories per day. 40,000 calories per day. Now you should understand. Some of you will say, I eat much more than what you were talking about, and I don't have a pound of flesh. Now you should know where it is. I again tell you, if you put on weight, you are the lucky one. Anybody who eats extra and becomes fat is the most fortunate person on this planet, because at least he can notice that something is going wrong. He may apply correctives. There are people who won't do it. If they don't show, if the extra eating does not show on your scale, then you are the most wretched person. You should understand what happens in their case. The first thing is, it will translate into your weight going up. The second problem is that you may not appear to be fat, but all these extra calories will make a film around your organs, around your heart, your liver, your lungs. And with that visceral fat, as it is called, any of your organs cannot function properly. I mean, those of you who are eating liberally without getting fat should know this, that all that fat would be inside you. The phenomenon is called TOFI, thin outside, fat inside. From the outside, you are thin, but you have that fat around your organs, which is 10 times more dangerous than being fat in general. That is one issue. Your extra eating would translate into having fat around your organs. This is the second. The third consequence would be that you will start having aches and pains in different body parts. You will get it x-rayed, nothing will come out. You will get it MRI done, nothing will come out, and your doctor will give you a great analysis that this is fibromyalgia. You know what fibromyalgia is? Fibromyalgia in simple English means, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. There is no disease called fibromyalgia. It just means that, buddy, we do not know what is bugging you. Today, I'm telling you, it is your food which is bugging you. If you have undiagnosed aches and pains in any part of your body, whether it is your head or your toes, it is the extra food that you're eating. The other destination for your extra food would be that you would be always in discomfort under stress. You will be always feeling jittery. You won't know what is happening to you. Even walking would be an effort. You would feel as if your feet have turned into lead. Every step would appear to be a Mount Everest. This is another price you will have to pay for that fanciful eating that we do. And then comes the next stage, when you will get the news that your liver is packing up, your kidney is packing up, or you're getting diabetes, or you're getting arthritis, or your triglyceride and cholesterol have touched the sky. Basically, you will have multiple organ failure. Mind you, you are not putting on weight. Nothing is showing on the scale. Nothing is showing in any test report. You are very smug in the belief that all my tests are coming okay. But suddenly the news would come that this organ is gone. And finally, the worst part, supposing none of this happens, weight is not going up, your organs are okay, there's no pain as such, and then you feel top of the world that maybe I've been blessed with extraordinary metabolism. No, sir. Your thinking capabilities would be gone. You would become more and more irrational. Either you'll be too angry or too sad or not able to understand what is good for you. This is what I want to talk to you today. This is the biggest issue bugging this world. With the kind of eating that we are doing, you may appear to be okay in all external matters, but your decisions and your choices would be absolutely shocking. You may be saying or doing things which you must not. This is called auto-intoxication. The extra food is actually acting as a very lethal drug, as if you are taking LSD or something else. So never ever believe that just because your weight is not increasing, you have got good metabolism. No, please. It will translate into the other factors. If you are fortunate, it will be a physical change, which is okay with me. But if it is a psychological change, that is the worst that can happen to you. We are end up of our time. So what is the take home point? Shed this thought that you can ever eat too little. There is no way that anybody in the present situation can eat too little. What I gave you in the beginning, what some of you suggested for the poorest laborer would, in general parlance, would be known as the starvation diet. If you try to put somebody on that diet, supposing you have a servant and you give that much food to him, you try to give that much food, I can bet that he will run away. He will think that you are an insane person, you are a devil who is forcing him to live on that little food. But even that food I just showed to you is way above what an Indian can handle. So my endeavor is to remove this bee from your bonnet, that any of us can be eating too little. So even this food, never ever make the mistake of calling it dieting. Dieting is something, if you go below this, which those who are going for the camp are doing these days, that 12-day detox that you are doing to prepare yourself for the camp in Gadshankar from the 31st, you are doing that kind of calorie restriction. That was only for 3 days, the first 3 days. But otherwise, there is no way that you can eat too little. There's no way you can die. So be absolutely certain that what you are eating at the moment is much more than what you should be eating. Never ever think that you are making yourself weak. You cannot make yourself weak. If you want me, I'll expect messages from you. I can tell you that how much food you are already carrying with you. Next time, if you want, you can go on this line. I mean, most of us are overweight. How many extra calories you are carrying, that is a subject in itself. We can discuss that so that the fear goes from your mind that you can weaken yourself. As long as you are overweight, there is no chance that you can ever starve yourself. All the very best. And if I have convinced you, try to convince your family members. The elder ones would never agree. As it is, they may be telling you that you are a fool to be on this journey. But at least the younger people, your children and all, if you can influence them, you'll be doing yourself and me a great favor. Thank you and good night.